Welcome back, folks, for a new episode of Leaked. And today we'll cover all the new content and changes that's coming for the 9.14 patch to World of Tanks. Now, this patch should arrive around 3 to 4 weeks from now, so between the end of this month and beginning of March. This patch is mostly focusing on audio and physics rework, so new audio like gun sounds, engine sounds, explosion, different calibers, all the good stuff, and new physics like swerving, drifting, ramming, turning tanks onto the roof, does not get stuck on a cliffside. So some parts of the core mechanics are being shifted and reworked, and that's good before you introduce new tanks or so. So yeah, fix the game first before you add more stuff. Alright, so this patch is currently live on the Supertest server. It should be live on the test server in about 5 days from now. So the usual Thursday or Friday, and that's the date for test servers. So as always, the contents of this video are preliminary, so they are subject to change, and not everything is set and defined. Alright, so it's a leak video after all, but here we go. Now, disclaimer, the European World of Tanks main webpage already posted a leaked-ish summary of this patch. So they posted the summary, but it's not in great details, so they already beat me to it, but I have more details in this video. So here's a summary of this patch. There's going to be new physics, as obvious, new sounds for the gun sounds, engine sound, blah blah blah. There's a hint that there's going to be a new tank in the gift shop. It's going to be the Object 244, I believe. So that's a tier 6 premium Russian heavy tank. It's a IS stock at tier 6. It has the armor, but it's lacking in engine power. So I already covered this vehicle with a leak video about 6 months ago, I believe. So click on the little picture of the stock IS to watch the Object 244, but it's alright. So they added 6 new vehicles for testing. They reworked 24 vehicles into HD, and various mechanical and technical improvements like bug fixes and better UI, so all the good stuff. Now, Havoc physics engine was too stressful for older computers and therefore was not implemented in this physics update. So yeah, that's a bummer, but Havoc is not scrapped, so do not panic yet. So we'll still have Havoc engine soon, I hope, but it's not scrapped, so but it's not in this patch. And no actual buffs or nerfs to tanks than the minimal buff or nerf to the armor from HD Remodeling. So basically, no nerf to the T110E5. So go stat pad in that awesome overpowered tier 10 American heavy tank. When are they? Oh, hopefully they don't nerf it, but I can still play it a little bit more. So yeah, no nerfs, no buffs. So here are the new physics. So I will not read all of them because, yeah, there's too many to read. But there's new models for tank movement, collision, blah, blah, blah. That's for the ramming and moving, I guess. So new maneuvers, changing tank steering behavior. So wobbles, that's pretty cool. So new visual effects during turns and movement, reworked tank behavior during ramming and collisions, and mechanics of turning tanks over. So hopefully we do not get stuck on a sharp cliffside. There's a lot of sharp cliffsides, so it's like jamming your tank into a right angle and it gets stuck. Ugh. There's going to be new sounds, so integrated new audio driver, so performance increase. Please increase the FPS, that would be awesome. So multi-core CPUs are benefited. Rework the sounds of main subsystem, blah blah blah, gun firing sounds from interior and exterior, and maintaining the usual caliber system. So hopefully a BL10 from the ISU 152 does not sound like the 6-pounder on the Crusader. So different calibers, please. Yeah, BB guns versus, a bazooka. So gun reload sounds, penetration sounds. Alright, so high explosive anti-tank and APCR should sound a little bit different, and I can tell the difference in the sizzle, hopefully. Rework the tracer sounds. There's a whoosh from artillery. Alright, so reworked tank destruction sounds, fully reworked tank engine sounds, the track transmission and traction sounds. Nice. And here are the various mechanical and technical improvements. So there's going to be a beginner course, personal missions for tier 4 through 5. And this is going to teach you about new tactics, I guess, the main tactics like circle strafing or detracking, hopefully. Decrease the number of modules on lower tiers to ease the progression. Alright, so easier on beginners, I guess. Unify depot and store tabs in the garage. Okay. Improve mechanics of activating small first aid kit and small repair kit for single damage component. So originally you have to activate the repair kit or first aid kit and then select the crew member or module. Now if you only have one of those, you just click on the activation, it automatically repairs it. So saves you about 0.1 seconds, I guess, but reduce the error chance. So if you press the wrong button, oh well. Alright, so reduce the error, hopefully. Improve the filters and tooltips in general, personal reserve, as well as UI. Alright, UI improvements. Same goes for the rampage mode, clan interface, blah blah blah. Activated the old loading system, so you can choose between which loading style for the loading screen, I guess. Added new language, so if you speak these languages. Added options to minimap similar to XVM, so the view range, the maximum view range, and the draw distance. Basically copying XVM or Armor Warfare. Armor Warfare copied XVM, so originally you're copying the mod that's intended for you. Kind of funny. And continue for more various mechanical and technical improvements. So remove shortcomings in customization functionality. What the hell does this mean? Like changing your equipment? I don't know. Improve interface, blah blah blah. Added conditions, applying customization elements. Okay, personal missions. Okay. Improve disabling the voice communication by pressing Alt plus Q. So, alright. Improved interface, blah blah blah. Customization item purchase. A bunch of technical stuff. I don't know what the hell is going on. Added the possibility view custom. Okay, blah blah blah. So basically changing the painting of your tank, I believe. Added possibility to change currency, gold or silver, in the purchase selection. So the default gold is being switched to default current or credits. That's the mod. So improving all the mod features from XVM into World of Tanks. Alright. Improve some wrong links in the Asian and Korean client. Can't read. Improve the camera behavior during zooming on objects. Alright, so a bunch of technical improvements and small stuff for the UI and quality of life, I guess. Vehicle change is T28 prototype, now has a roof. So it's therefore considered as a close top vehicle. And what that means is vents and better DPM. So that's awesome. The T95E2 will have a loader sharing the radio operator qualifications than the commander. So basically, you can train situational awareness now on the radio operator, whereas previously it's conflicting with the recon on the commander, so a little bit buff. And various armor buff that's subtle with the HD remodeling of the tank. And special, and they added the Polish tank, this little light tank, into the Polish tab for the tanks. Now this is only for internal testing, so it's not releasing to the public. And what this means is we're likely going to see the Polish branch for the tanks. So I'll try to do a leak dish or what if video about the Polish branch, but Sam is lazy, so yeah. Alright, so the maps, they added the Paris map and they reworked Sacred Valley. You can go to the World of Tanks European main website to play around with the Sacred Valley map. So, but the Paris map was removed because of the November Paris attacks, so asshole ISIS, I guess. Bastards. So about the Sacred Valley map, they reworked this little area down here. So it's flatter now, there's no valley, so it's not just fighting up here or fighting over here, but they reworked this area. You can get into the castle, or not exactly into the castle, but it's blocked by around the castle, and the bridge is moved. So there's a sky bridge in the middle. Okay. This map is not one of my favorites, but it's all right. So the new UIs. Ugh. So new depot and store tabs are merged into one. Kind of hard to see, but whatever. There's a mini-map update with the view range, render range, whatever, and sound adjustments. So different acoustics, if you will. It's all in Russian. Ugh. And 6 new vehicles for testing by super testers. So there's the Corvettes-1. This is an IS3 prototype. I will cover this with the leak videos. There's 3 of them I will cover. So I've been super busy and lazy, so it's my fault. But the Corvettes-1, it's this tank right here. It's IS3 prototype. So yeah, it's basically a 112 for the Russians, but the 112 is designed to fight IS-3s, so this actually precedes it. Okay, whatever. Next one is the T-25 pilot number 1. So this is this tank over here. It's basically another M46 Patton KR at tier 8. So yeah, I'm thinking this is going to remove the Super Pershing, but maybe. So the Corvettes-1 might remove the IS-6 from the gift shop, and the T-25 might remove the Super Pershing. I'm guessing, but I doubt it. So there are 2 classic tanks. We have the Light Panzer M41, the Bulldog, the German Bulldog right here. There's the Grill 15, the Stapler right here. There's the Batchat 25T AP. So this is a tier 9 French medium tank. It's likely going to be a personal mission reward like the T-55A. So yeah, it's basically a light tank, AMX 1390 at tier 9, because this gun is a 90mm, I believe. So the penetration is around 200mm off the top of my head, but the damage alpha is the same as the AMX 1390. So I was not interested or excited about this vehicle when it first came out, so whatever. And you have the Sentinel AC4-1E2, so phallic shape machine gun port. And that's pretty much it. So 6 new vehicles. The most interesting one is the Bulldog or the Stapler. But yeah, Stapler is... A lot of players complain that the Stapler is not that OP. Are you kidding me? The camouflage rating on the Waffen trigger off E100 is so goddamn awful. I have to hide in the back, whereas the Stapler, you can actually move forward, and it's faster. So, what's not to like? And 0.26 accuracy with 150mm? You gotta be kidding me, right? So, yeah. Here are some remodels, 24 new vehicles with HD models, so a bunch of them. I'm mostly excited for the T-28 prototype, and nobody cares about the Japanese lower tiers. Nobody cares about the Saxon 2. Ugh. So, E25, that's a good one too. Nice. Douchewagon number 2. Douchewagon, yeah, you already know. So, yeah, some good stuff. Now, here are some buffs to the HD remodeling. So the IS-6 buff in the previous patch was too OP, and I guess they changed it a little bit. So as you can see, the turret armor is better rounded now, but there are some parts that's a little bit weaker than usual. So only a flat strip right here, and flat strip right here is 155, but that's a very tiny area. The mantlet is a lot stronger than the old mantlet. You have lessly armed cupolas on top. The driver hatch is buffed. Same goes for the upper plate, but the middle plate right here is a little bit weaker. Lower plate is a little bit bigger in size, but it's buffed from the previous. And there's a subtle armor sloping on the side armor. That's a buff. So as you can see, I took a trace of the side armor angling and I placed it to this model. As you can see, this angling is slightly better than the previous model. So the side armor got better sloping, but as you can see, the side armor got nerfed. So it got better sloping, but less armor. So okay, I guess. There's a weak spot in the frontal cheeks now, so it's not 212 anymore. The turret got buffed a little bit, but there's IS6 for you. So the old skateboard ramp. Here is the T28 prototype. As you can see, there is a roof on top now, so there are cupolas on top. A lot of players complain, oh, you have cupolas now, so there will be the weak spot. Not really, because as you can see, the cupolas are 228 millimeters. You still have the weak cheeks on the turret, so that's the 209 millimeters right here. And you're supposed to shoot this part right here, or the machine gun port. So, yeah. And this word means auto bounce in Russian, I believe. So, or based on my experience where this arrow is pointing, that should be should be auto bouncing zones. So yeah, the mantlet got buffed, so better mantlet, better cheeks right here, so it's 220 instead of 195. But yeah, it's overall buff. So a lot of players say, oh yeah, it's has cupolas now, so it's a nerf. Not really, it's 228 millimeters, and you can equip vents onto this vehicle because it's considered as a closed top vehicle now. So artillery shells do not immediately destroy this thing, thank God. And you can put vents onto it, so buff to DPM, buff to aim time, speed, all the good stuff. So closed top vehicle, protection against artillery, it's a buff, no matter which way you look at it. And lastly, we have the E25 HD Remodel, and there's a nerf to the mantlet. So the mantlet is not as strong as the previous, but you're not supposed to bounce shots with this vehicle, so it's whatever, it's fine. The only difference is the mantlet. The cupola or machine gun port right here might be a little bit smaller, might be, but I cannot really tell. Oh well. And as for the size of the E25 in the game is historically inaccurate because it's about the same size or width as a T-34, I believe, the Russian T-34. So here is a diagram of the actual size of the E25. It's supposed to be a little bit bigger, and a lot of players are complaining that the HD remodel are making the tank bigger. It's not true. So as you can see, the green is the new one and the red is the old one, so you can see it's about the same size, so don't worry. And if you're disappointed about the lack of your favorite tank having an HD remodel, I recommend you try out some of Milky Man's awesome skin mods. So I'll post the links to the European main webpage for this patch, as well as Milky Man's mod website. So he done a lot of awesome stuff like remodeling the skin for the Panzer 58 Mutz, so it doesn't look like the bear with the green tint, whatever. Or the E75, this looks awesome. And the Ripper Pershing, the Ripper Super Pershing, and FE215B. So I'll post the link in the description of this video, but highly recommend him and check him out because he's pretty good. And finally, I can't talk. And finally, we're going to finish off looking at some of the pictures for this patch. So the rest of this video are pictures and me just ranting about different tanks and commentating and talking gibberish. So as for final thoughts about this patch, yeah, physics, sound, two of the biggest problems, because your tanks might feel like a moped driving around shooting BB guns. So that's not really a tank, is it? It's basically a pixelated cardboard box that has the shape of a tiger, but you're basically driving a moped or a lawnmower with a BB gun. It doesn't have a bazooka. It doesn't feel like 152 millimeters of gigantic shell goodness. It feels like a freaking BB gun. So yeah, this patch should fix some of the enjoyment of the game and no longer get stuck on a cliffside and embarrass yourself. So yeah, but here are the pictures for this patch. And here we have all the HD pictures of the upcoming patch. Now there are a lot of pictures, so I'll try to talk over them, but here is the A20. It's the predecessor to the A32, which became the A34, which became the T34, the Russian legendary medium tank, the Foch 155 with the 155mm auto-loading 3-round clip. The aim time is a little bit long, but it does have armor with 2 big weak spots on top. Is it based off the AMX 50? Really? I never knew that. But yeah, here is the AT-15, basically a tortoise at tier 8. The armor is pretty okay, but if you shoot the machine gun port on the the starboard side of the vehicle, that's where the loader is. You have to think about ship terminology, but if you shoot the machine gun port, yeah, the tank going to reload a little bit slower. Here is the Batchat, the 25T AP. It's a 90mm, I believe, so I'll talk about this vehicle with the leak videos, but this is basically AMX 1390 at tier 9, so not excited about the alpha. Here is the Chini. It's tier 3, I believe? Tier 3 or tier 4? No, it's tier 3. So, Japanese tanks all has the funky looking shape, but it's not as crazy looking as the OIs and whatnot. Oh, one of my favorite tanks, the Crusader. So, yeah, this thing is basically a medium tank. It has a light tank camouflage rating, but it has medium tanks matchmaking. So, one of my favorite tanks. The 6-pounder is so good, but I do need a little bit more ammo on this thing. I love this vehicle. Oh, the cockroach. This thing was given out for free last year around August or September, but yeah, a lot of players have it now, so thankfully. But yeah, this thing is the Teemo of this game. Yes, basically Teemo of World of Tanks. And here is the stapler. A lot of players say this vehicle is not as good as the Waffentrigger off E100. Well, it's not as good as the pre-nerf Waffentrigger, sure, yeah. Everything's not as good as the pre-nerf Waffentrigger, but this thing is better than the post-nerf, so it's a stapler. Here is the GW Tiger. Now, the dish on the back of this vehicle is for demounting the gun and using it as a stationary weapon. So you can demount the gun and place it onto the dish, so it becomes a stationary gun. But small fun fact, it's not used as a satellite. Here is the IS-6, the old skateboard ramp. Already covered this vehicle, or this vehicle was covered in 9.13 before they scrapped this model because bugs. But I've been using the HD skin from the 9.13 test server as the actual skin for the vehicle. Blah. Here is the IS-3 Corvette-1 prototype. So basically 112 for the Russians. Still has that IS-3 turret, so the weak gun access port on top of the turret. Yeah, not excited though. Here is the scumbag B2. This thing is so annoying. It constantly shoots. It's like a Burt, the FE304 at tier 5. So it's so annoying. And it has range. So it reloads every 6 seconds or so. Or something. Just annoying to play against. Here is the Lechpanzer M41 Bulldog. The German rebore of the 76mm into a 90mm. So a lot of players are saying that this vehicle might be OP than the actual Bulldog. So we'll see. Here is the M44, the scumbag that always shoot high explosive anti-tank. Because the high explosive anti-tank on this vehicle has 250mm of penetration and deals like 750 damage. So yeah. Here is the bigger version, M51, 55. So yeah, scumbags. Is the engine deck at the rear, right? Or engine deck at the front of the vehicle. So basically this tank is driving backwards. Alright, got a shovel in the back. Here is the most OP, tier 1, the MS1. So a lot of players were asked that which vehicle should have the HD remodel. And Russian players obviously say the MS1. So they got it. It's a tier 1 with the HD remodel. Come on, guys. Alright, fine. Here is the Nashorn. as expected from the humble remodel. So very good tier 6 tank destroyer, just no camo. The gun is amazing. It's the 88mm long 88 that's on the Tiger, I believe. So OP, but has no armor. So, and it's pretty big. Here is the Panzer Kampfwagen T25, basically the German takeover of the Skruder T25. Doesn't have the auto-loading gun. Auto-loading 75mm. It's alright, tier 5 premium. Yeah, I like my Panzer 4H though, but it's not that bad. Here is the AC1 E2/4 Sentinel. The phallic shape. Machine gun ports. Yeah. I can't stop laughing. It's like the T28 concept. Just machine gun boobs. Everything looks phallic and penisy. Here is the Saxon Mark II. Basically a Saxon Mark 1 that has premium status. So, yeah. Is this Saxon Mark 1 as the normal one? I guess, but it's already nothing special. British version of the American tank destroyer, or looks mostly the same. T1 heavy tank, the stock turret, I believe. Or this gun looks like a 76mm. Is it the 90-ish millimeter? No. T1 heavy tank does not have the 90-ish. Should be a 76, right? Never played the T1 heavy tank. Here is the T25, pilot number 1. Basically, you know, another patent KR at tier 8. So, has less armor though, but it's faster, I guess. No camouflage bonus from the Tiger Stripe paint. Here is the T28 prototype with the turret and roof and cupolas. Is it a buff? Yeah, it's a buff. It's definitely a buff. Because I would rather mount a vent onto this vehicle than camouflage nets. Because camouflage net on this thing is useless. So, yeah, vents are better. Here is the T20. Did I just say T20? T40. The American tank destroyer. So, based off the M3 Lee, I believe. But, why the hell was I thinking about the T20? Oh, the T25 pilot number 1. The Type 3 Chinu, the tier 5 Japanese medium tank. It's decent. I mean, doesn't have the armor, but the gun's pretty good. So, yeah, decent. But I like the Panzer 4H because Panzer 4H 80mm at the front compared to this 50-ish millimeters or 70-ish. Here is the Type 5 Kiho. It should be tier 4 light tank, I believe. My knowledge of the game is so extensive. I know which freaking tank and which freaking tier. It's a tier 4 light, I believe. But yeah, nobody plays it. So, weh. The Type 97 Chiha type is tier 3, I believe. Or tier 2. Or tier 4. I don't know, whatever. Japanese medium tanks. Low tier tanks are not paid, low tier tanks are not being paid enough attentions. Alright, I suck at talking. It's been 20 minutes plus. Here is the VK7201K. Basically the Lion version number 2 or E100 Lion. Has the Lerve shape turret with a thick hull armor. Here is the Douchewagen number 2. Actually, it's not the Dirchburch wagon number 2, but you already know this tank has no armor. Only 50mm at the front and sides. It's a heavy tank at tier 5 with only 50mm. That's flat. Yeah, it's a douchebag wagon. Ugh. And lastly, we have the T20. So there's no HD render of this vehicle, so this is an actual screenshot of this tank. But here is the stock 76mm, then the 90mm. And that's it, folks. So 30 vehicles with HD models, 24 are released, and the rest are testing vehicles. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, this patch, pretty decent. Mostly audio and physics, which is good. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.